Dan Williams, Survive Outdoors. We're going to target some Lyme disease today, which we've done quite a few videos on, but we haven't targeted the rumor that was going around for years in terms of, was Lyme disease a government conspiracy? And it was so involved that there's been books written about it. And we're going to target that. And we're going to address specifically what you should do with Lyme disease and when you get bit by a tick. Now, this video you're going to see right here, this is a guy that came in last week. He had a tick in his ear for 3 days consecutive, didn't take it off, came in. And when you remove a tick, you start at the very base next to the wherever the skin is, and you pull it 90 degrees very slow, and you see it completely removes itself. This is a wood tick, an American dog tick. It does not carry Lyme disease. This is the male wood tick. And it does carry, not this particular tick, but the species of tick can carry tularemia, which is rabbit fever. It can also carry Rocky Mountain spotted fever, and that's not just in the Rocky Mountains. I had a case a few years ago in Wisconsin. So that's important to note. All right. So in 2019, there were 30,000 cases of Lyme disease in the United States that was reported. In 2022, there were 64,000 cases, and they estimate about 500,000 people were treated for Lyme disease. We're also going to target what I feel is some possible shadiness going on in terms of associations, being involved with the government funding, and we're going to get into that. Before we do, for my regulars and not my regulars, we do a giveaway every month. And I want you guys to comment below, what are you looking for in terms of a giveaway? Hunting accessories, fishing accessories, camping accessories, or medical supplies. So write down below, and at the end of the month, we're going to be doing the giveaway. All right, here we go. So Lyme disease has been around since, well, at 5,300 years ago, they found Lyme disease in a mummy. In the 1890s, we have documented cases of Lyme disease in mice on Cape Cod. The reason why individuals felt that the White House and the government were involved is there was a research facility on Plum Island, which is a stone throws away from Lyme, Connecticut. And they felt these ticks got out, and the United States were basically infecting ticks with Lyme, Burgdorfia, the bacteria, and they were going to use it as a bioweapon. Now, what doesn't make sense with this is, number one, Lyme disease was around 5,000 years ago, documented. So that's one thing. The second thing is it's not very effective. It takes it, not everybody's going to get a neurological disease, but if that occurs on third stage Lyme, you're talking years. We're also talking about the fact that it's fairly easily treated in terms of antibiotics. In fact, 3 or 4 different antibiotics will treat Lyme disease. So that's important to note. However, there's some interesting facts here. The White House got involved in 2019, and they had a special task force to investigate Lyme disease and whether or not it was being used as a bioweapon, and spent millions of dollars on this. Now, I have some notes here. As you can see, I have been researching the hell out of this. Lyme disease treatment and management, and I have all of these articles, British Medical Journal, and so on and so forth. So in 2019, at that point, the government had a task force to investigate this. The Infectious Disease Association, they basically came up with a very shabby study, less than 100 people. And the only thing that came out of that was, in this small sample size, approximately 7 people did not get the erythema migrans rash, wrote this study up, gave it to the government. CDC touted it. It was in a bunch of journals that one dose of doxycycline, 2 tablets, if you have a tick on you, will prevent Lyme disease. That's it. That was the study. So I dug some research and found out that the Infectious Disease Society of America is funded by the FDA, the CDC, and they get federal funding from these individuals. And when they launched that, the CDC then put out that it's acceptable to take the 1 dose doxy. Later on the CDC, and I have it on the computer, and I will quote, antibiotic treatment following a tick bite is not recommended as a means to prevent anaplasmosis, babesiosis, ehrlichiosis, Rocky Mountain spotted fever, or other rickettsial diseases. Lyme disease is a rickettsial disease. So, what's up with that? Is the Infectious Disease Society in bed with the government? I wouldn't be surprised if it is. How does this all affect you? So, some of the most common questions that come up are that I jotted down here. Does Lyme disease stay in your body forever? It does not. The antibody, IgG, rises and can stay positive for a year or so, but that's the antibody. That is not the antigen. That's after you're treated. It just means you've had it. Can Lyme disease be cured? Absolutely. You catch it early, it's not a problem whatsoever. What are the main symptoms of Lyme? This guy, what I've seen him in the clinic is just fatigue. A few times I've seen the rash. It does not always have to be a bullseye rash. Weakness, knee pain, joint pain without trauma. Those are all red flags, plus a history of being in the outdoors hiking. However, if you got a dog or cat and they're in your house, you don't have to be a hiker. The dog or cat could bring it in. So that's important to realize also. Treatment. We rely heavily on a couple different organizations. One is called Up to Date. And Up to Date even cherry picked some of their data. I went through their whole 20 odd pages of Up to Date on Lyme disease and treatment of tick bites. And they're making comments in there like the rash is evident in about 80% of the cases. No, the research points to consistently between anywhere from 50 to 65% of cases. So I looked at their data and their bibliography and found out where they pulled that from. But the vast majority, it's about 60 to 70%, not 80%. So you always got to be alert out there. The bottom line is for my providers is you treat the patient, you don't treat the data. You treat the patient. That's what's really important. And I do not give 1 dose of doxy for a tick bite, even if it is a deer tick. This here is an example of a deer tick, classic deer tick. That's the culprit that causes Lyme disease. So I wanted to run that down for you and give you some examples of what's going on. What is that government conspiracy about? It is unfounded. They did spend the money, the government did, and they came back as completely unfounded. And that's been proven. Nope, that doesn't exist. Has anybody out there had Lyme disease? If you had, can you talk about it below? If you have any questions specifically on treatment, please ask me. If you like this, give me a thumbs up. The other thing I wanted to mention, though, on treatment, if you go to a provider and they want to give you 1 dose of doxy because of a tick bite, please insist that they give you at least 7 to 10 days and explain why. And have them look it up themselves. And if you don't feel that you're satisfied with that, then go to another provider, for God's sakes. That's really, really important. Shop around for good healthcare providers. Really important. Also, please comment below on what you guys would like for a May giveaway. All right, guys, keep your eyes on the rise and your face to win. We'll see you next time.